Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? That man right there in the picture, that is Dr. Shabibi. He was the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq for somewhere in the neighborhood of about 9 years. Very outspoken man, was more concerned about what was best for the Iraqi people, and often outspoke about a lot of the agreements that Iraq had stepped into. Well, he just passed away today, so R.I.P. Dr. Shabibi. He was the man that said the Paris Agreement wasn't a good thing. It was great at lowering inflation, but did nothing to help the economy of Iraq grow because it affected the exchange rate. And he's one of the people that thought the exchange rate should have been higher. So, R.I.P. Dr. Shabibi. A lot of interesting things happening over in Iraq, as usual. Groups have been formed. Sadr is now in control. He is forming the government. Now all the key people are being voted into place. Let's see how this plays out. Before we get started, if you could do me a favor and just hit the thumbs up button, the like button that is. This helps us get past the YouTube algorithms. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. A reminder to everybody that I am not a financial advisor, I'm not a lawyer, nor an accountant. All the information that I share with you is of my own opinion.
Hey, look, I want to talk about this Amber Lolly product again. Whenever something good comes along, I do want to talk about this. My neck, I had a kink in my neck from hell, and the pain was, it gets to the point where you get headaches. So I just grabbed the cream and I rubbed that crap on the back of my neck. After a while, you don't even realize that the pain is gone. You're just going, and how we are several hours later, and there's no pain. And it works really quick. I like that. So joint pain and muscles, sore muscles, nice. And then here's the thing about me. I get offered all the time. People want to come on, they want to be sponsors, they want to be this. My thing is, if I don't use your product, I'm not interested. You know, I can sell out everything and make a ton of money, but no, my subscribers to me are very important. But this product here, absolutely, I'm going to endorse this. I like it a lot. AmberLolly.com.
Hey folks, just a quick reminder that back in 2008 and 9, a lot of people lost all of their retirement savings and their 401ks and IRAs because they did not own gold and silver. Yeah, that's right. Gold and silver protects you from a market crash. So do yourself a favor, protect your retirement by purchasing gold and silver. You can go to moneymetals.com, reach out to them, and they will help you set yourself up to protect you and your family from having to start all over from scratch. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will send along with your order a free half ounce of silver. So folks, do yourself a favor, head on over to moneymetals.com and protect you and your family from a market crash, as well as inflation. So head on over to moneymetals.com and buy gold and silver. That's right, you could personally own it and have it. And keep in mind, if you spend more than $100 on your first purchase, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. You guys know I have this alternative website. I encourage you guys to go check it out, because over here we do have videos that I cannot play on YouTube and videos that have been banned from YouTube. All proceeds go to finding life's purpose. Be careful from people trying to scam you, posing as me. Whenever I reply to your comment, there will be a black circle or a gray circle around my name. If there is no circle or shade around my name, then it's not me. I will not be sending you to WhatsApp or Telegram or Telegraph or anything like that asking you for money. From time to time, I will use material that is considered copywritten. I am just posting this to let you know that I am exercising my fair use rights. Okay, as you're well aware, Parliament held its first session today. And the first thing they did was nominate the speaker and 2 deputies. And as expected, Halabasi is the winner of the presidency. So he is going to be the Speaker of the House. This was done unanimously. So it said Progress and Azim choose Halabasi as the candidate for the presidency of the Parliament. So congrats to Halabasi. But we knew this was coming. And Saleh should be president of Iraq, and then Al-Kadhimi should be, without a doubt, the prime minister. We'll see how this goes out. Anyway, it said an informed political source revealed that the two largest coalitions, the Sunni political forces, on Saturday evening chose Halabasi as a candidate for presidency of the Iraqi parliament in its fifth session. A source told the news that the members of my alliance, headed by Halabasi, and a determination led by Kanjar, voted unanimously to choose Halabasi as a candidate for the Sunni forces and to occupy the position of parliament speaker for a second term. When Saleh Halabasi and Al-Kadhimi were in their positions, it appeared like a lot was accomplished. I know there was a back and forth between Erbil and Baghdad trying to get these things ironed out, but it wasn't just Halabasi and Al-Kadhimi. They had to wait for the parliament to agree with them, and that sometimes could be a pain in the butt. So Halabasi is the Speaker of the House. He's President number 3. This is what I was talking about, the death of former governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Dr. Shabibi. So a statement came from the family just saying that he had passed away today. That's a shame. Everybody seems to be passing away. It says on here, tomorrow, the first session. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. The first session wasn't today. It's Sunday. That's tomorrow. Not today. Today's Saturday. The first session of Parliament is the first of its kind in Iraq. This should go quickly. If they've already unanimously voted in Halabasi, he will be speaker. You have your 2 lieutenants, and then from there they will vote on the president of the Republic of Iraq. And I'm anticipating that the winner would be Saleh. So the news is reporting Iraqis are waiting tomorrow, Sunday, to hold the first session of a new parliament in its 5th legislation session after 2003, after the president of the Republic, Saleh, called for the session to be held on the 9th of January. Yesterday, Friday, the media department of the House of Representatives published the agenda of the first session, which includes the repetition of the Constitution oath of the winning deputies in the early elections that took place on the 10th of October. The session will be held under the chairmanship of the eldest member, a leader of the Islam Alliance, who previously headed the parliament. That's how it usually goes. It's the eldest starts, then the people nominate, and then you vote on who the winner of who the speaker is going to be. Iraqis are looking with interest at the course of the parliament session that will be held on Sunday, as the current parliament is the first of its kind, as it came after the first early parliamentary election following popular protests in Iraq in October 2019, in which more than 800 martyrs were killed and thousands were wounded. So we've seen articles in which Kanjar and Barzani, along with Halabasi, had met several times talking about what needs to be done in Iraq, and I think we're on the same page here because even Sadr said the same thing. It's all about taking care of the Iraqi people, making sure that Iraq is stable, making sure that Iraq starts providing jobs, building the private sector. You know, the same things we've been talking about here. Sadr publishes a tweet about the shape of the new Iraqi government. Basically, what he just says is, look, this government's going to be different. This is going to be all about inclusiveness, with one exception, by the way. There's a lot of articles in which Sadr is making sure that when he talks to the alliance, he's going to make sure that they can do whatever it takes to make sure that Maliki is not in the government. Yikes. Yikes. That's going to be interesting to see. And Maliki and his people, of course, are threatening like they always do. He's saying it's suicide, and there will be a lot of, protest and a lot of demonstrations. We don't take the corruption out of there. That's what they want to do. They're draining the Iraqi swamp. So in this tweet, what Al-Sadr is saying is, look, this is going to be an all-inclusive. This is what this is. You can see right here where he says, on the eve of the first session of the House of Representatives in its new session, and the intensification of meetings between the main political components in the country, Shiite, Kurds, and Sunnis, with the aim of naming the 3 presidencies and proceeding with the formation of the government. So I like what he's saying. He's saying all the right things, because right here he says, today, there's no place for sectarianism, and there is no place for ethnicity, but a national majority government in which Shiites defend the rights of minorities, Sunnis, and Kurds. The Kurdish will defend the rights of the minorities, Sunnis, and Shiites, and the Sunnis will defend the rights of the minorities, Shiites, and Kurds. In other words, all the groups are there to defend the Iraqi people, period.
He said, today there's no place for corruption. Yeah, I feel like that's a jab, at Maliki. Anyway, he said, today there is no place for corruption, as all sects will support reform, stressing that today there is no place for militia. Everyone will support the army, police, and secretary forces and security forces, and the law will prevail in an impartial Iraqi judiciary. He finished with saying, today we and the people will say, no, our decision of the Iraqi, Shiite, Sunni, Kurdish, Turkmen, Christian, Fali, Shabak, Yazidi, and Sabine, and the Iraqi nation mosaic, neither of Eastern nor Western influence. In other words, a government by the people, for the people. I love it. So the big sticking point, why it is that Sadr and Maliki could not get along, why they couldn't come up with an agreement, is over the prime minister. You can tell Sadr is determined to make sure Al-Kadhimi is the prime minister, and Maliki doesn't want any of it. Remember, Al-Kadhimi was the one trying to investigate Maliki and other members of his group and family members for a lot of crimes. So I'm going to anticipate that once you see Al-Kadhimi in there as prime minister and Sadr behind him, you're going to start seeing some investigations take place. It's going to be interesting to watch. Sadr formed the largest bloc. The framework considers its exclusion a political suicide. So in order for Sadr to be able to form the government, all he needed was 165 members. He had over 70 seats himself, I think 74, and then just other people to join him. Well, he got 180 of them. So he's 15 above what he needs. He is going to form the government without a doubt. He's also warning people that there's a lot of threats against the people, a lot of threats against Sadr, which is not going to deter them at all. He is going to do what he set out to do and build a government for the people, by the people, with no influence from America or China, including Iran. So there are a lot of articles in here about Sadr discussing what he wants to do to form the governments. In addition to that, he's not going to allow the threats to deter him from forming the kind of government that he wants. And he said that this is a time for reform in Iraq. Again, saying all the right words. We'll see how it works out. So in this article is what I'm talking about. Sadr reveals the features of his majority government. Threats will increase our determination, progress towards democracy. Launching the initiative to form the Reform of the Nation grouping. And the Sadr's bloc is the first to join. So if you come down here, you can see right here, it says the news, a design alliance launched the initiative to reform Iraq. And the first political blocs that expressed its desire to join is the Sadr's bloc, noting that negotiations are still ongoing regarding joining him. But as he stated, the Sadrists set a condition for joining the Reform of the Nation, which is that the rule of law led by Maliki should not join. Oh, man. So that's mostly what it is. There's a lot of articles about who's getting in what position, who's joining what political forces, who's teaming up with who's being excluded. I'm more curious to see about Talibasi, Saleh, and Al-Kadhimi join him. I would hope for that. And then the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear a lot of names being mentioned to help form the government. We've been through this before, after Maliki resigned, and then all of a sudden Al-Kadhimi became the prime minister. So right now, that's all that's going on, because nothing can be accomplished until this new government is established and in place for them to start making the changes they want in Iraq. So hang tight, people. We're going to get there. A big hurdle was just passed. Now we're going to see what it leads to when we start nominating his government. That's it for now. You guys hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.